Today we have more news for Andor Season 2. Tony Gilroy just confirmed there is a legacy character returning near the end of the show, but they've been recast. So the question on the minds of fans has been, who is he talking about? Who is the character essentially getting a new face? Is it someone from the original trilogy and so a recast is almost expected? Do we have yet another Leia actress? Or could it be someone like Dodonna, and they do something similar to what they did in Rogue One? Now here's what I think. This is a character who has appeared in recent projects, but for whatever reason, due to schedule conflicts, due to the logistics, as Tony Gilroy says, they just couldn't get them back when they were filming the second season. And I have my suspicions on who this is. If I had to make a prediction, I would say it's going to be Bail Organa. That's the name I keep seeing being thrown around. Jimmy Smits, of course, the absolute legend, has been playing the character since the days of the prequels, and he returned in 2022 for Kenobi. But for whatever reason, people are saying he's the one who's been recast. And you're probably wondering, well, who's replaced him? We do have a name. Benjamin Bratt, who was already confirmed to be an Andor in an undisclosed role. I can definitely see the resemblance, so my guess would be Bail Organa is who Tony Gilroy is talking about. Benjamin Bratt was seen on set in Valencia. And I just want to say before anyone runs with this as an exclusive or anything like that, this is just my speculation. Take it with a pinch of salt. I could be wrong, but I'm just putting pieces of the puzzle together. Benjamin Bratt was on set, we don't know who he's playing, and now we know there's a recast of legacy characters. And just the other day, Tony Gilroy said he wishes there were a couple of other characters who could have returned for the Yavin scenes, but they were unavailable. So I think there's a good chance we're talking about Bail Organa here. Another possibility is Tarkin. Due to the ongoing lawsuits about Peter Cushing's likeness in Rogue One, maybe Lucasfilm took a different approach and literally just recast him. And if we do get a Bail Organa mention, my dear friends, there is also a good chance there is a Fulcrum mention. Although I very much doubt Ahsoka herself is going to appear, but maybe something small like a name drop. But some good news if you're a fan of Tony Gilroy, as I very much am. He doesn't rule out returning to Star Wars one day. Although he says he doesn't want the position of Lucasfilm president, and at the moment he thinks he's contributed enough, he says never say never. He says for the moment he's done with television, he needs to go and direct a movie, but maybe someday he'll return. And if he does, instead of being offered another TV show, he should be offered a Star Wars movie or trilogy. Imagine something written by Tony Gilroy and directed by the likes of Bryce Dallas Howard. I personally would much rather see that than a Rian Johnson trilogy or something by Simon Kinberg. What I'm saying is Gilroy has the chops. I'd love to see it happen. But for now, my dear friends, he is taking a break. Now, something else Tony Gilroy said. He teases something at the very, very, very end. And yes, he said the word very 3 times. There are things you didn't know about certain characters, their backstory, things they're going to do in this season, which have an impact on Rogue One, but also maybe further down the line. Things that concern, I would say, the backstories of the likes of Luthen, Mon Mothma, and maybe even Andor himself. I wonder if they're ever going to return to Andor's sister. Regardless, there is something at the very, very, very end, which I don't think fans are expecting. In a new interview with a Hollywood Reporter, Carl Soler, who plays Cyril, said something very similar. It's in the small details in Andor Season 2. Even if you know the way it ends, those overall gaps that are going to be filled change the overall picture. This is very vague, but it could be in relation to the fates of these characters, who Luthen really is and who he once was, and maybe something concerning Cassian and Bix's relationship, which in one of the new clips seems to anger Luthen. He doesn't want Cassian to lose his concentration. Maybe he sees Bix as a distraction. And another thing we now know, guys, Clea Markey is going to be one of the most expanded characters from the first season. We're about to get an info dump. Lots of our questions answered, lots of backstories explored. I think it's going to be very satisfying. I'm so excited. Just 1 week to go. Also, my dear friends, Lucasfilm just dropped another public clip. Believe it or not, this is from the very first episode. It was shown at the sneak preview in London, Cassian breaking out the TIE Avenger, which is still just a prototype. We also see the return of range troopers from Solo: A Star Wars Story. This goes back to what I was saying the other day. The legacy of Solo, some of those characters, their designs, live on in other projects. And it's where Cassian lands that is very spoilery and puts Season 2 on track to unfold the way it does. That's all I'll say. I won't go into more depth about it. I'll break it down on Tuesday. But to start Season 2 like this in such a cinematic fashion is absolutely wild. When the Andor news reigns, it paused because we do have yet another update. This is on the musical front. As you guys know, the amazing Nicholas Brittle did the score for the first season, and there is a soundbite that is making the rounds via various media outlets claiming he's been replaced for the final season, but that's not entirely true. He was able to score most of it, but following the strikes, he unfortunately suffered a terrible personal loss, and that meant they had to hire Brandon Roberts to finish the music for Andor. He expanded on Brittle's themes and continued the season with some of his own memorable cues. Tony Gilroy said this, "I was in despair about it for quite a while, and then, as it started to happen with Roberts, I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. So it really worked out, and hopefully, everyone's happy about it. It sounds great." But those claiming that Brittle didn't do any work for Andor Season 2 did not read the full story from The Hollywood Reporter. He wrote a lot of the music for it before stepping away. So those are the Andor updates, and now my dear friends, we have a rather interesting topic concerning the sequel trilogy stuff. And by sequel trilogy stuff, I'm talking about the Rey movie, the Sean Levy movie, and the Simon Kinberg trilogy, which continues on after The Rise of Skywalker. Kelly Marie Tran, Rose Tico herself, was asked if she would ever return to the Star Wars universe, and she had a very interesting response. Rose Tico is one of the most criticized characters from episodes 8 and 9. I thought Kelly deserved so much better. Rose was really poorly written. Considering the ways in which they could have built on the loss of her sister Paige, she was so underutilized, and was neglected in episode 9. But now Kelly says she has endless love and gratitude for the galaxy that gave her so much. And apparently there have been some conversations, mostly between her and friends, but conversations nonetheless, concerning her return. If she did return, it would make sense. Considering rumors about Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, Kelly Marie Tran makes sense, but again, only if Rose Tico is better written and is kind of given a fresh new start. The political situation post-episode 9 is what's most interesting, because she would be part of that regime, whether it's a republic, a new republic, or something else. She's good friends with Finn, so if they are bringing back familiar characters from the sequels, then I guess Rose makes sense. It's controversial, I know a lot of fans don't want to see her again, it'd be great to have new characters, but to this day, I still see Rose Tico action figures on clearance. But no shade to Kelly, she's very sweet and very kind, a good actress, but she was just done dirty by Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams. This is what she said, "I have so much love and gratitude for that universe and that world. Lily's a big Star Wars fan as well, we've talked about it. Oh, and I remain such a Star Wars fan. It has such a warm place in my heart. Just that whole universe and the entire experience. And I don't know the context to which things would have to fall into place for Rose to return, but I will say that I just love that world." There will be some who say, move on from all of these characters. Even in the Rey movie, her allies, her enemies, they should try to detach themselves as much as possible from the sequel era. I've already seen a lot of vitriol concerning this update, and I'll be honest with you guys, the way she's talking about this, I'm not too sure she's actually been approached. Some are saying this is an indicator that she has been, because she's praising the Star Wars universe, which at one point was a very difficult thing for her to do, and she's expressing she would come back. So who knows? Celebration is in 2 days' time. Maybe there's some kind of announcement or big update there. But what do you guys think? Share your thoughts on all of today's news, mostly concerning casting updates. If you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Check me out on socials, and may the Force be with you always.